What's up, everybody? How's it going? We are live again. The Jiu-Jitsu guys. Look at us
Yeah,
go.
let's do it, man. You
Yeah.
ready? Been
Oh, I'm
training?
ready. I said you saw me do this, but like you hopped on, or you didn't say a word. I was like, hold on 1 second, let me go get something.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you had it handy. Yeah,
Yeah, man. It's been sitting collecting dust, so I figured I should get some use out of it, right?
indeed. Yeah. Me too. I got about half a dozen geese right now. I've probably thrown away six that got worn out,
Yeah,
and yeah, I really need to wear out some more geese because crypto's taking some time from my real passion, which of course is
of course.
fighting people.
Well, hopefully the crypto will help fuel your healthy, maybe unhealthy habit of jujitsu. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just buy Gucci geese. That'll be good. Gucci rash guards.
That is a thing. Yeah. These I got the show your roll here. These are the best ones I've ever had. I can't see spending any more than that.
Yeah,
Um, you know,
you don't need to spend a
one,
lot. You can get a solid one for 150 bucks that'll last like plenty. Like,
yep.
yeah. And of course, I have to have my blue belt in the view because as a blue belt, I need everybody to know that I'm a blue belt. I am not a white belt anymore. It's an accomplishment. This is an accomplishment. Everyone has to know.
It's very important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's very
just
important.
it's as important as the doctor in front of my name now.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And statistically, most blue belts don't advance past blue belts. So yeah, I think you should show that one. Yeah,
Yeah, I
but I
should.
think you could do it because if you can get to black belt, then you could also take on the title of professor,
Yeah,
as is correct in the jiu-jitsu world, right? So
yeah.
you could be like professor, doctor, cryptosloth.
Mhm.
I think that would be look good on a business card.
Have you ever seen like SpongeBob, the when Patrick's like, call me Mr. Doctor Professor Patrick? You seen that?
I'm afraid not. Yeah, I'm
Okay, well,
only
it's a common meme for us youngins over here who watched SpongeBob as a kid. Well, and like Patrick was just like Mr. Doctor Professor Patrick to you. The funny thing was, I was a teacher for a year before I did went to dental school, so I
oh,
was a Mr. Sloth for a while. Now I'm
amazing.
Doctor Sloth. Now I just got to get the Professor, and then it's Mr. Doctor Professor Sloth. I'm gonna get all the titles.
Nice. I've reached the point in my life where young girls typically call me Mister. It's
Yeah,
it's you could take it as a show of respect, but really it's just like a show that you're in a different place. You're not you are no longer a threat. I think
yeah,
is the general feeling, which is great.
pretty
It's very
much.
comfortable.
Yeah, man.
It's all good.
What was I gonna say? How are you doing, man? Dude, you've been working really hard lately. I mean, you're
Oh
all
yeah.
over the place. All the
Yeah.
socials, all the Telegram rooms, as you've always been. That's nothing new. But
Yeah.
yeah, how are things going with the Tupac stuff?
Fast Duel has been getting around. I've been making some deals. I've been, scheming and also plotting, and it's all coming together, which is great. So Yellow Cake and I are just on the verge of the final phase of launch for TwoFux. So we're there's contracts being deployed on the Pulse chain. We're already minting Prime TwoFux, which is the permanently locked Prime Fux that stays in the protocol and gives it all its voting power and its boosting power. And we have a lot, which is awesome.
Mhm.
So we're everything is just like it's just lining up perfectly. It took a long time, and like we only told people in the last 4 months or so, but we've been working on this for 10, almost 11 months now, behind the scenes, before we made it public in any way whatsoever. So yeah, like we've been thinking about this, like running all the simulations, running the test net, the dev nets, and talking to devs every single day. We have a dev meeting. Most of our devs are Ukrainians. They're great guys, and their English is okay, but like every day, 1 or 2 hours talking to those guys in the morning, and then Yellow Cake's talking to them all night long too.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of work, but like man, it's coming together. So Pulse Chain's going to have a fork of Convex and or a Finance very soon. It will be far and away, by nature of the code, the most sophisticated protocol on the Pulse Chain. Right,
Okay.
like we have multiple contracts inside this protocol. This is not a copy paste deal. It is pretty significant. We have our audits done. And we've lined everything up so that we're going to come out with a huge bang when the protocol launches. I think we'll see a massive adoption, and people will be very incentivized to do so for multiple reasons.
Mhm. Yeah, man. It's obviously you told me about you developing TwoFux relatively early. I'm sure you've been in development way before you even brought it to my attention. But like slowly as I was thinking about it, I was like, oh man, like this is like the perfect protocol to fit into Pulse Chain, like at this specific moment, right? Like I'm sure other stuff will be good, but like this is like a nice piece to the puzzle for like the palette of protocols that we have.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the timing wasn't like 100% intentional as far as when it would be finished and released. Like we really did try to finish it as quick as we could, but it almost couldn't be better because we're just at the edge of a point where the emissions on the Fux Exchange are gonna go down significantly, and because they sort of have like a halvening type thing, which is going to make that token much more valuable and much more rare. And then on top of that, there's all these other things happening in the community, like the solid index guys. So that's like Axis, Fire, Solid X, and the Nope token. They're like going together to make a pool on the Fux Exchange. So, we're very interested in helping those guys with that, which is great. And to, just to have that as something to point at on the Fux Exchange when we're talking about TwoFux and the 2.5 times potential yield that we can give people. Like obviously when there's a huge push of community momentum to something like the solid index tokens that will be there all paired together, that's great. And I think we should touch on just, because maybe if somebody's not hasn't been doing this for 2 years straight like us and looking at crazy LP positions, like the Fux Exchange is a fork of Balancer V2, which is in my opinion the most advanced form of DEX that there is in DeFi right now. You can pair up to 8 tokens together, which is cool, and there's all sorts of crazy game theory attached to that. And then there's options to use those LP tokens. Are even fungible. You can pair them against each other. And the biggest thing with the Fux Exchange is that it has a boosted yield option that some pools have. They call them gauge pools. It just means incentivized. The Fux team, like the PH ecosystem team, has to decide on which pools those are. To be clear, that's separate from our team. We're building on top of their ecosystem. We're friends. We talk. The gauge pools can present tremendous yield. Like we've seen upwards of 300% on occasion. And one of the biggest things with TwoFux is that our essentially front end for the Fux Exchange that you can choose will give you a potential boost of up to 2.5 times what you'd be able to get by yourself, right? So it's a big difference. And that could be the difference between like 25 and like, 125% yield, or it could be the difference with smaller numbers, but like, it's significant enough that people need to pay attention. And it could even go beyond the basic boost, because when you use the TwoFux front end, instead of just getting Fux tokens, which is the core token of the Fux Exchange, you also get the TwoFux token, which is our community token, which has huge utility in that it can be locked. That's what we call it within the protocol. It's locked, and while it's locked, you can get additional yield, of course, in what we call the Prime TwoFux token. And then on top of that, you get voting power that is proportionate to the number of tokens you hold for what TwoFux controls, which is a very large amount of Prime Fux that's permanently locked inside our protocol. Like it can never be sold as Fux again. And that allows for us to have a substantial amount of voting power on the Fux Exchange. I can't give you the exact numbers because Yellowcake's still doing all the math and getting everything set up, and it's still rolling in because of our promo. But we have a huge percentage of the voting power already. Like it's going to be upwards of like 20% on day one, I'm pretty sure. And that could steamroll very quickly because the protocol keeps buying more Fux and turning it into Prime TwoFux and increasing its own voting power and yield boosting power automatically just from people using it to do what it's supposed to do. So like we might be looking at having 50-60% of the voting power by Christmas. That wouldn't be a crazy thing, can't guarantee it, but yeah, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, man. That's and I'm just going to explain that again just for other people, just in case a different explanation helps. So the way that like Fux works is that there are these gauge pools that earn PHUX as the incentive token, like on PulseX. And there are votes dependent on how much of the basically Fux LP token you stake. So if you stake it, you get this thing called VE Fux. It's just like a receipt. The more of that you have, the more votes you can put towards certain pools, which gets more Fux efficiency. Now, if you were trying to take advantage of this individually as much as possible, you would need to stake a lot of TwoFux LP for a year. So there's a lot of risk associated with that because you're locking up
Prime Fux they'd have to stake.
Yeah, I'm just keeping it simple with Fux LP instead of adding new things. Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, but yeah, Prime, you have to stake Prime Fux for a year, and that's going to give you the most possible points, kind of like the T-shirt longer pays better concept. It's that concept in there, and then you get to direct votes. But if you have 1% of all of the VE Fux, then 1% of if you have 1% of each of the TVL in each pool, that 1% gets 2.5x. So if somebody wanted 2.5x, they would need to stake a lot of Prime Fux for a long time. And that's a lot of risk, right? You're locking up a lot of coins for a long time in crypto terms. Like so much can change in a year for a 2.5x bonus. And that only makes sense for a very, very small number of people. And these are essentially the whales. But imagine everybody was able to come together and pool their votes into one wallet, and everybody had access to stake through that wallet. So if everybody, say I have 1%, Fast Abdul has 5%, but a community of 10 people who also have 1% come together and stake through a single wallet, then they put all their LP tokens in there. They all get that 10%, and they beat us, even though individually we all had the same. And that's kind of the synergistic nature of this protocol. So everybody gets the benefit of increased yield, and that increased yield is actually both in terms of Fux, because and this is in the more minute details, but you only earn 75% of the Fux that your LP tokens technically earn. The other 25% goes to the protocol. But that 75% could be bigger than, in dollar terms and Fux terms, than what you did individually if you were to go on your own. And so that's just one part of your reward, but you could also earn, it was like 2FUX, correct? On top of that, which is the 2FUX emission protocol. So this is like an amplification on top of an amplification of yield that everybody has access to through the 2FUX front end.
There we go. Yeah, no, that was very succinct. That's great. And I think it's important for people to understand that the protocol basically takes that fee of 25% of the bonus yield that's likely more than you would have been able to touch by yourself anyway. And basically it's paying you back with the additional 2FUX token, which in my opinion, very likely could be worth more than the Fux tokens that you're giving up. But then what happens to that 25% is interesting too, because there's actually an opportunity for you to get that back, right? Mm-hmm. So 25% that it takes as a fee, 20% of that gets paid out to the stakers of the Prime Fux token, or Prime 2FUX token rather, which is the wrapped version of the Prime Fux token from the Fux Exchange, except for the Prime 2FUX token being like a wrap sort of rocket pool type thing. You can stake it or unstake it. There's no locking time. You don't have to lock it for a year. So you're liquid. But while it's staked, of that 25% that the protocol is taking, 20% is paid to those people who choose to stake the Prime 2FUX token. And then 4% is going to the 4% is going to the people who lock their 2FUX token. So almost all of it is getting paid back in one way or another. Only 1% is taken by the protocol to actually pay to keep the lights on. You can, if you do it properly, you can really have your cake and eat it too in multiple ways, which, I think we'll show here.
You can have multiple yellow cakes, right?
Indeed. Yeah. As much as you like. Tokenized yellow cake.
Yep, tokenized. I like that. That's the first meme coin in the 2FUX protocol.
It could be. Yeah. Oh, and there will be memes. Yeah. We're very much a business thing, but like there's some opportunities to incorporate like the meme ecosystem into this stuff. This is a little off topic today, but like 2FUX has an option to add an additional yield token on top of the yield that you're already getting. So if a community were to get it together to approach us and make an arrangement, you could have a yield token that was added on top of the yield tokens other people were already receiving to participate in a particular pool. And that would work great for things like disseminating new meme coins. Like it could be almost like a launchpad type thing. Like who better to airdrop to than people who are providing LP for a reason, right? Exactly. Especially if it was connected. Like if the new token that you were providing as a bonus was connected to the tokens they were providing LP for, how likely are those guys to do something with it versus just dump it? I think there's game there.
Well,
So
like, and that's exactly right. So these meme coins, their liquidity is attached to some core asset. And I think actually the Tang Gang and HOA is the perfect example of this because they have their main HOA token, and then they have all of these other splintered tokens, meme coins that they've created over time within their culture. Most of it, all of it flows back up to HOA. Right. So assuming they had some kind of gauge pool on Fux, and then on TwoFux, if they did, they could the new coin that Too Spooky launched that just goes up forever because that's everything. Every contract address he puts on Twitter just starts going up. Right. That one could be distributed to a very specific and targeted pool of assets that are the LP backing of the entire ecosystem. So the way to get into the new thing is to support the foundation as a whole. And even that sell pressure that might come through it, the net result of it is actually a more healthy ecosystem, even if that specific meme coin has a little bit of extra sell pressure on that time. Now, there's other fun games that founders can play with that stuff in of themselves, but like the mechanics are all there for us to play with, especially the people who are building on Pulse Chain. And of course, everybody else who just wants to make some sweet passive income, like it's all there for you.
Yep.
If you know what's going on.
Yep. Sometimes it's about the eyeballs. And if you can get that high APR number, right? Like if you add an additional yield token and the yield APR goes from on one pool from 300% to 600%, even for a week, you're going to get so many more eyeballs on that. That like, the long term for the entire community, even if there's a small dump-mental, is probably, a positive thing. So, definitely these things have a way they should be done. But yeah, there's games here for sure.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Let me think if there's anything else on that I want to say. That's actually a mechanic I'm personally really excited about, the additional coins. I'm already kind of it's ruminating. It's ruminating.
I thought of you. I thought of you with that.
Yeah, I know you did. You don't give out information. You give it out very specifically. You're very intentional with what you do behind the scenes. I'm learning that more and more. Yeah.
Usually I have a plan.
But there's some announcements, right? Some news that you want people to know. Why don't you tell us what should we know, Fast Abdul? How are you going to bribe us, sir?
There's a bunch of things you should know. There's only a couple things I can tell you right now. And I think the big one is that we're doing a Prime TwoFux pre-mint right now. And just I know you described it fairly well, but that's the Prime Fux from the Fux Exchange that you can go and buy right now. Like it's available. That's a real token, and it gets wrapped into Prime TwoFux. Like that's how it's made. And when the protocol is live, as early as Monday, I hope, that's what it will cost. It will cost one Prime Fux. We'll be able to mint one Prime TwoFux, and it will always be like that. And it actually creates an arbitrage point. If the price of Prime TwoFux goes up, you'd go and arb that, and so on and so forth. But that's the deal. It's like pretty much one for one. There's a small margin of difference, but it's like, yeah, more or less a straight across trade. But right now we have an offer where you can pre-mint Prime TwoFux for up to a 30% discount just using Pulse, which is already fantastic because it's like this is going to be a great yield token. Like it has a single-sided or a LP farming staking option, both of which have no lock, and both of which will have little to no impermanent loss. So I think there's great game theory there. I'm anticipating, and this is just off the top of my head, I can't guarantee this, but I think this is going to be between 150 and 200% APR. People are going to be seeing this fairly regularly. And those things go up and down, but like it's going to be real, and it's going to be more constant than a lot of other pools that we see, on the Fux Exchange, but in general, just on the Pulse chain. Like this will be a very safe, stable pool, in my personal opinion, not financial advice. So the game here is that, okay, you can get up to a 30% discount on something that pretty much currently has a price tag. So, well, that's pretty good. The other bonus is there's no slippage. Like go and try to buy 1 billion Pulse worth of Prime Fux. Like you're going to hit crazy slippage, 40% slippage, right? So right there, your 30% discount is, maybe it's a 60 or 70% discount when you actually do the math of what you could actually get in reality. But then it gets so much better. We had a community step up. First, we had the Axis community and the Fire community. So like Axis Alive and Crispy Man, they stepped up, and we had $50,000 ish worth of Fire, worth of Fire and Axis tokens that they gave us to give away to incentivize the pre-mint. So we were giving those to the top 50 people, and it was a great deal. Like it's Like it was literally like a lot of people were just in straight profit by the time they finished the transaction. And that this ends on Friday. So it's all leading up to Friday. But then just yesterday, and I've just now completed getting the information out to people. The Solid X Fire Whale. Well, he found out we were doing this. You know, he's a busy guy. He didn't notice right away, but he found out and he was feeling left out. And he contacted us and he arranged for us to have, with his generosity, an additional $50,000 worth of Solid X and Nope tokens. So that's like the whole Solid Index community, basically, that we've directed to now the top 100 wallets that are pre-minting. So I'm going to share the screen here.
Go ahead.
Let's see if I can figure this technology out.
And everybody, there's a link to TwoFux.io in the description. And right under that is the link to the information. This is the page that Fast Abdul is about to pull up right now. The link is right down there in the description box.
Okay, so first off, this is on the Hex Pulse Info site. There's no direct link on the site, but they made it for us. So Jay from Hex Pulse Info is a community volunteer. This guy puts in hundreds of hours making sure that everything, all the sacrifices, all the different protocols on the Pulse chain are documented. So I think everybody should really appreciate the level of work that a volunteer has done here. And I will remember him in the future. So right at the top here, it shows you the discount. So, like the minimum 10% off on the price that you're going to get to the maximum 30% off that you'll get at a billion Pulse. But everybody gets a discount, regardless of where you start. So, but the more interesting thing right now, and these numbers are crazy, is that every single one of the top 100 wallets is going to get, here, let me pull up actually the 100. There we go. So every wallet is getting an airdrop of these 4 tokens, Axis, Fire, Solid X, and Nope, as long as you're in the top 100. So I have here, I've noted the amounts, right? And like, so Axis 0.8875 Axis, but one Axis is like $17,000 or $18,000. This adds up quick, right? So, and then Fire tokens, a whole bunch of Solid, 17 Solid X this top wallet gets. That's pretty juicy. And then, 2,777,000, lots of sevens, Nope tokens. But this number, this column here where it says bonus value, this is the market price of those things added up. So the top wallet is getting a $4,902 airdrop as of this second, if it ended today, and it ends on Friday. So there's still time for the positions to change. But as we scroll down, you'll see that it's still really, really juicy. So like we can go down to position 20. Okay, this guy put up 50 million Pulse, right? But he's getting an $1,857 airdrop of all of these really liquid tokens. And with the Solid Index coming up, and I can't give you exact details on how that's going to look yet, but we know that it's going to have those 4 tokens are going to be in there paired together on the Fux Exchange in a very, very incentivized pool. So to have an opportunity to participate with TwoFux, to get the Prime TwoFux staking token that will give you crazy yield, part of which is in the TwoFux token, which will give you additional options with voting power and bribes, all kinds of fun. But you can get these 4 tokens as an airdrop. And when we look at the math on this, like how much is, did you have a Pidius up there?
$2,600. Already have it up, baby.
Okay. So this guy's put in $2,600 and he's pulling out, and he's going to get Prime TwoFux, which
on top of this,
I think at a discount, at a substantial discount, that is going to be valued, in my opinion, at more than he's put in. And on top of that, he's getting $1,857 in an airdrop, right? So, and it keeps going. Like, it's like, this guy's like, it looks good to me. Like, this is one of the only things I've referred family members to, because the math is insane. They don't have to understand everything. They just have to understand plus minus equals in this case. So I think it's great.
That's way too much. I can't keep up with that.
So let's look at, yeah, I know it's tricky. Yeah, that dental school is all hands on, right? No actual math.
What's math? Like, Chiefs don't have math.
Indeed. So we got, so position 50. This guy's got less than 20 million Pulse. He's getting a $400 airdrop. Okay. That's pretty good. That's like substantial discount.
20 million Pulse is $1,000 right now at these nice, juicy, depressed prices.
Indeed, yeah, and we've gauged this to pulse, not to dollars, right? So that's the play. Is like, yeah, what are you doing with your discounted pulse right now? Why not use it to get something at a discount with a bonus attached to it? And if we scroll all the way to the bottom, and this is actually where the math is the most foolish at the moment. Now, obviously, these things will change. So the bottom, number 100 wallet, this guy's put 110,000 pulse. This doesn't even make sense. Like, how much is that? That's like $6 or something.
110, $5.
$5, and the airdrop is worth $31. And he's going to get $5 to prime TwoFux tokens. Now this fellow, I'm not sure I like this guy. I think he's going to get pushed off the list, not by me, just by the next person who puts in more than 100,000 pulse. $5 to get $31 worth of airdrop tokens. But the point is that this is a crazy deal. There's huge opportunity here. You don't have to put $10,000 in. Now, the guys who do put $10,000 plus in, like the big players, well, they're getting rewarded like significantly. Like the top wallet is almost $5,000 and not much lower than that, 4 or 5 down from there. But the fact that you could be coming in the bottom 10 or 20 wallets and still be taking home potentially 50% or more of what you put in just in the bonus airdrops, not including the actual purpose of this, which is to pre-mint the prime TwoFux at a discount, which is fantastic. And this isn't really a sacrifice. Like, this is sort of more like a wholesale deal. Like, we basically made an arrangement to get discounted Fux at a rate that you'd never be able to get it for. And we're passing that on to our users so that the ecosystem will have much more prime Fux. And it's working. Like, we can see here that we've barely told anybody about this, really. Like, it's really all insiders right now. I think that'll change as of today. But
careful.
There's 400 grand in there, right?
Yeah.
It's going to get bigger. So that means the protocol is gaining that power. So if you participated in, let's say, the TwoFux protocol, if you're going to be one of the initial holders of the TwoFux tokens, you want this to be as big as possible, because the amount of prime TwoFux locked in the protocol is what determines the amount of voting power and the amount of yield boosting power that the protocol has. So it's kind of an everybody wins thing in a lot of ways. Obviously, there's competition with this airdrop thing, but apart from that, everybody's getting a discount, and it's just about you. Like, how much you put in is how big a discount you get. And the other stuff is just a bonus. So I think it's a very strong community initiative. It seems to be very popular. So I'm happy with the response so far. And I think today, in the next couple of days, we're going to see a lot of new people who are going to participate just because math, I guess.
Yeah. That's something that people like, I guess, in addition to like flow charts and whatnot.
Yeah, it works.
Before we move on to the other announcement, I did want to make one comment on the importance of what you're doing in this pre-mint, right? So sacrifices, and you guys have run your own sacrifices, but generally capital raises and sacrifices have kind of gotten a bad rep in the community. And there are some good reasons for that. Like, there are some good reasons why you could give criticism for doing a sacrifice or doing a capital raise at all instead of launching a complete product first. However, there are some protocols where capital upfront actually is really, really important. And this is one of those. Because that $400,000 that Fastable just showed you guys, that's a pre-mint for prime TwoFux. So if you remember, how you get prime TwoFux is by taking TwoFux, staking it for prime Fux, and then putting it in the TwoFux protocol to get prime TwoFux out. So that's $400,000 of voting power that's going into the ecosystem. So this kind of capital raise actually makes a lot of sense. And the fact that we're getting it basically to be in profit immediately is like a win-win for everybody. Right? Like, the protocol is going to win because they're going to have more liquidity, more votes, higher APRs. The individual sacrificers or the individual pre-minters are going to win because they're probably going to be in profit. They can take out their initial and have some tokens left over. And then also, there's one more win in there, but I forgot. There's so many wins I keep forgetting. But the protocol,
the airdrop itself is huge, right?
Yep. And that's like way to go. Like Axis, Crispy, everybody in the Solid Index were like making that happen. And then, like, this is them taking money from their protocol and giving it to you guys. Like, you have to view these tokens, or I view these tokens as like receipts, right? And these receipts have the ability to be redeemed for value, whether that's in the form of Pulse, DAI, ETH, whatever you think is valuable. And they're saying, hey, guys, if you participate and provide liquidity for this protocol, because that's what this pre-mint do, providing liquidity and economic energy. We're going to give you some receipts so you can take value from our ecosystem, which is amazing. By them, like, it's very generous. And I mean, they're not like they have some interest in this, right? Like, big players want to be at the top of this thing because, people like, you remember back in the day, like, people would describe yield farmers as like locusts. Like, they come in, they eat up all the yield, and then they fuck off, right? Well, if you have sustainable high APRs because of the ability to vote, like, you're just getting people into that. Nice. I wish that would happen for me. Someone would pop in.
You don't have one of those? No,
I have my own here. Do I have one of those? I do not have one of those.
Keep working on it.
I'll work on it. God, I lost my train of thought. But they have a incentive to give this money away because the more they can sustain attractive APRs, the more bolstered the liquidity of their ecosystem is. So it's a win for the protocol, it's a win for the retail, and it's a win for the donations. All next people with the donation that they give. It's just a positive sum game that's being played. X Monkey, This is in the description below. It's right under the TwoFux link.
Okay, yeah, and come to the Telegram room, guys. If I can see, one person, Yara Mool, there says he's fuxing confused, and I understand. We have some good videos, some starter videos in the Telegram room. We got some cartoons from the Crypto Hexplain guy. He did a great job on those. So there's places to start. This is probably not the place to start as far as how does TwoFux work. It's pretty heavy stuff, but there's huge potential here, and everybody should learn a bit. If you learn this, this is transferable skills to every chain too, because there's forks of Balancer, Convex, Curve, Aura Finance on multiple chains, and all the rules are kind of the same as far as stuff works. So this is like, if you're into DeFi, you should learn how this stuff works. It's going to be huge for you.
Now you also, let me pull it up as well. You have I sent you this drawing.
Yes.
Yeah, I sent you this drawing, and I knew you'd understand it. Sometimes it's hard for me to get my thoughts down on paper, but I made it as clear as possible. I sent you this napkin drawing right here of like a really good strategy that I thought would be good for TwoFux. And you helped me clarify it a little bit. Can you tell me like what you saw in this when I first sent it to you?
Yeah, well, I think right away I could see the potential in your deep thinking. I think we had to clarify some of the points, and I don't think the audience is going to necessarily grasp it with what you've shown there. But I've refined it just a bit.
Okay.
And here, let's review what I've refined and see if people can get a better understanding. Did we? Let me know if we can. Oh, there it is. Okay. Here, I'm going to zoom in a bit more. So here's the, as per your explanation, here is the CryptoSloth Prime TwoFux Maxi strategy. And I'll go through this pretty quick, but all these details we'll have available in the TwoFux room and the Tetra room. This is meant to work with Tetra Stratus when it launches, of course. This would be the kind of strategy that you'll be able to automate to definitely, make some gains, in my opinion, not financial advice. And even when Tetra is not available, this entire process is completely available just with you pressing more buttons. But yeah, automation is the end goal for sure. So we start up here with Fux and Pulse. And that's how you make the Prime TwoFux token. This is the logo for Prime TwoFux here. So it's an 80-20 pair. You put in 80% Pulse, 80% Fux, 20% Pulse. You get an LP token called Prime Fux. And then via the TwoFux protocol, you can convert your Prime Fux into Prime TwoFux. Now, and just to recap, with the thing that we're currently doing with the pre-mint's a better deal. So if you want to get Prime TwoFux in the next couple days until Friday, that's the option. But after Friday, this is your only option.
Is this the deadline? Is this the deadline past the duel?
Yeah, it's Friday at, I have the times marked. It's like 8 p.m. EST, I think, and so on and so forth. On Friday is the deadline for the pre-mint, right? But after that, you'll still be able to mint Prime TwoFux. You'll just have to use a Prime Fux to do it every single time. So, and that's a one-way mint. It goes from being a Prime Fux to getting wrapped in the protocol. You get the receipt token, which is the Prime TwoFux, and then that's where the arbitrage could happen. And that's something that everybody should keep an eye on, because since the value of a prime TwoFux is very closely tied to prime Fux, we're going to have a really big 50-50 pool that's prime TwoFux paired against prime Fux, and they should maintain very close to a 1-to-1 value. So there'll be like a very, very little impermanent loss on that. And we've seen that on Ethereum with like protocols like Convex and Aura Finance, that they match up very closely with those wrapped tokens, right? So it ends up being almost a stable pool of these two things that are paired against each other, and the cost of one is the value of the other. So, there's definitely an opportunity there. But if by chance the price of one prime TwoFux, just from people buying it off the market, because it's going to be liquid, people will buy it. If it goes above the price of one prime Fux, then you're going to have the option to arbitrage it by taking prime Fux, which you could be minting yourself, or you could be market buying, and then minting it into prime TwoFux, and then selling the price down until you get back to that 1-to-1 ratio. And since the biggest pool is actually going to be with prime Fux and prime TwoFux, like the biggest pool for both those tokens, quite likely, that means that you'll be able to move directly from prime TwoFux, sell it into prime Fux, take more prime Fux, and then convert that back into prime TwoFux, and you can keep that arbitrage going until it's at a 1-to-1 ratio and it's no longer profitable. But the end result is you'll have more prime TwoFux, with some of it effectively being free, paid for by the market. So no lose there.
I like it. And what's the so that was up to 3, right?
Yeah, we're up to 3. So far, does that match like sort of the plan as you had envisioned it?
Just kind of looking at it, I think you got the general idea.
Okay.
There are some ways I tweak it. We'll talk about that in the background, but you got like the essence of what I'm talking about. If you can't tell, what Fast Abdul was talking about was like this connection right here to the main like part. But you still have like multiple steps outward that we have to get into. And so we might have to backtrack, but like we're on a good start. Okay.
Okay. Very good. Well, thanks. You're more of a strategy guy than me, but I do know how this protocol works.
Yes,
so I think we can, we'll be able to work it out anyway. Yeah. But I think for a starting point for people, so they're going to end up with this prime TwoFux token. They can do the arbitrage to get more if it's available. It won't always be available. And then they have 2 great options. So they can either, at number 4 here, do single-sided staking. So that's like 0 impermanent loss risk. You just stake it inside the protocol. It's not locked at all. You can unstake it and sell it, whatever you want. And while you're doing that, you're going to get paid. I mentioned before that of the 25% fee that the protocol takes, 20% of it goes to the stakers of the prime TwoFux token. So that's another way you're going to get your share of what this protocol is making. And there's other things that are contributing to this. So it's actually quite substantial. So then you're going to get more prime TwoFux token out of that deal, which of course you could restake, and you're going to get the TwoFux token, which we'll look at as well. So that's one of the places you can put it. The other place is in that 50-50 pool that I talked about, which will be prime TwoFux paired against prime Fux, these 2 things of relatively equal value. And that pool, which will be gauged on the Fux Exchange, meaning incentivized, it'll likely be one of the pools that's the most incentivized by the protocol itself. And by that, I mean the protocol votes that the protocol is controlling. Like most of the votes are controlled by all the votes are actually controlled by the holders of the TwoFux token. Now, if the protocol or the team were to hold some TwoFux tokens and were controlling a portion of the votes, they would be very likely to push a lot of those or all of those towards this pool to incentivize people to get more prime TwoFux, thus making the protocol more and more powerful. So you could be making, it could be 100%, it could be 200%, it could have days where it's 500% APR on this pool that has almost no impermanent loss. And that's huge. And when you stake LP tokens, and it's not just this LP token, it's the LP token of any gauge token from the Fux Exchange, you get paid in Fux tokens more than you'd likely get by yourself on the Fux Exchange, and you get paid in more TwoFux tokens. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have substantial options there. And then to keep keep it rolling, it matters what you do with the yield. Or am I making sense so far?
Yeah, that's making perfect sense. Actually, I wanted to take a step back to points 2 to 3 really quickly. Okay. And I
Sure.
wanted to ask you a question about like how prime Fux and prime TwoFux prices theoretically could be similar. Do we have any historical data to suggest that that might actually happen?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we can look at on Balancer, right? And the Fux Exchange is a fork of Balancer V2, so that's this is very comparable data. And then the protocol that deals directly with Balancer is called Aura Finance, which is kind of a fork of Convex, and we can see that they have two tokens paired together. They call it very uncreative names. They call it the Aura Bal token is the equivalent of our Prime 2Fux. And they have that paired against the 80-20 Balancer Ethereum pair, which is the equivalent of Prime Fux. And they actually call that the stable pool, which is another very uncreative name. But the reason they do that is because those things, like, they're within 2% of each other for value very consistently over the course of 3 years now. So yeah, there's a ton of data to say that this will be the case. And since we know there is effectively a peg on the ceiling, because if the value of an Orabal, or in our case a prime 2Fux, goes above the value of a prime Fux, then there's an arbitrage point, so people are going to take that profit. Now, there's not a floor per se, but because the yield is so strong, right, that on the prime 2Fux token, it should be as strong, plus extra tokens and extra yield, chances are, for most people, than the prime Fux token. It's very unlikely that any deficit beyond 1 or 2% would stay for very long, just because the math dictates that you have two tokens that are providing yield. One provides more yield, and one costs the other to make it. So if there's a dip where there was a 10%, 20% dip between the price of prime 2Fux and prime Fux, then I think that would get eaten up by the market fairly quickly. I think there'd be some people who are just going to set a limit order for that, because it's not an arbitrage in an instant way, like it is if the price of prime 2Fux goes above, which I think people should also have maybe their eyes on. But there's definitely like a a midterm, in a matter of days, I suspect that would be corrected by the market, because people like money.
I think they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
Most people. Yeah.
But I like that there's historical data to like support the thesis that the two tokens will be plus minus 1-2% of each other. Because as you know, I'm the Hedron guy. I talk about these ceiling prices, arbitrage, and really, like, at the core of what these things are, it's a price determined by a smart contract and not a liquidity pool, which creates the potential for arbitrage. Like, that's the whole concept. You see it in Hedron Icosa. The Gifford ecosystem is taking advantage of that in full force. Like, we're starting to see this pop up more and more. And obviously, this is older than these things we've talked about, but this is another iteration of that same concept within the protocol, except now the tokens that we're playing with have like inherent yield attached to liquidity providing for the incentive tokens on both dexes.
Exactly. Yeah. Unlike with Icosa, which has like more mechanisms, we could say, where it's got to hit a certain point to be able to be sold into the contract so that it can be in the auction. This has less moving parts, where it's just like one prime Fux makes one prime 2Fux, and that's it. So if a prime 2Fux is cheap, it's only going to be cheap for so long, because it pays actually almost certainly more yield than one prime Fux. So people want yield. If the price of both go down, they'll go down together. If the price of both go up, they'll go up together. I think this is logical, and I think the whole ecosystem is going to drive up the price of Fux and prime 2Fux by default. But in my opinion, because we've built this machine that continuously buys Fux and can never sell it, so that's something. But I think the long term of the yield is huge, and they're just going to be on it. They're gonna keep it where it needs to be.
Yeah, man. So I think you did a good job of I think you've gotten closer to the point that I was trying to get with the drawing. And I see you picked up. I don't know if you guys noticed this before, but there's this little purple green thing over here. I think Fast Bill kind of got what I was talking about with that, but we'll see if he did. Tell us a little bit about how you incorporated this into the cleaned up version.
Okay, so like that sort of the final step here is, so if you're either staking your prime 2Fux or you're participating in the prime 2Fux, prime Fux LP, you're going to get yield in the TwoFux token. Now, if you get yield in the TwoFux token, you have an option to lock it in the protocol. It's a 16-week lock, just like with Aura Finance and Convex. And during that locking time, you're getting additional yield in more Prime Fux and in more TwoFux tokens, which is great. And then that allows you to, or I'm sorry, you're not getting more TwoFux tokens. You're just getting yield in more Prime Fux, which you can stake and then continue the process. But when you lock your TwoFux tokens, you get not only the yield, you get voting power. And your voting power is proportionate to the number of tokens, total tokens that you have locked in the ecosystem, and is a direct percentage of the Prime Fux votes that TwoFux controls, because we have a huge amount of it locked in the protocol. So that's going to build over time. So day one, you won't have as much voting power with the same number of tokens that you're going to likely have 6 months down the road. So that's huge. But I think the important thing is to understand that voting power is directly worth money, because you're only voting on one thing. You're voting on which pool gets the most yield. And people are very interested in that, right? Particularly guys, founders and whales who have big positions in they're trying to incentivize a community to participate in these pools in a very serious way. These guys, they got skin in the game, and they're likely going to, want to capture that voting power. Mm-hmm. And with that in mind, we're launching what you mentioned here, this logo in the back here. This is going to be Briberry.io. It's going to come out about 1 month after TwoFux. And it's going to be a place where you can sell your votes that you have on TwoFux to founders and whales or other interested people who can basically put up a bribe in the form of a bid. And that bribe is something that you can take for your vote, and you get to decide. You get to see where it goes. Like, it's not like a blind, here's a bribe, like, let me have your vote. Be like, no, here's a list of bribes. There's going to be the highest one, the lowest one, and you get to see where that bribe is going. So maybe you're just going to take the highest one because you're a mercenary. I can understand that. Sometimes I'm a mercenary. But probably you're going to have things that you're interested in, certain pools, certain communities, and you might take a lower bribe that's getting paid to participate in a pool that maybe you would have participated anyway, that benefits you, like, because you're participating in that pool, quite likely. Mm-hmm. So that's a great option. And that bribe could be paid in any token that the person who's putting up the bribe is willing to provide, right? Like, obviously, we're not going to let them, it's going to have to be verified tokens, good things. But just for example, if the TwoFux community wanted to, they could put up a bribe in the form of Prime TwoFux tokens to incentivize people to vote for the Prime TwoFux pool. And you could get paid in Prime TwoFux tokens to vote for the Prime TwoFux pool, which is the point of the strategy that you've made here, Sloth, to be a Prime TwoFux Maxi. So you can really have your cake and eat it too when you're getting bribed to do the thing you wanted to do anyway. I'm not guaranteeing this is going to happen, but it could happen.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. So, I'll let you guys be the judge. Do you think Fast Abdul captured everything that I needed in the napkin? You decide.
Well, I'll clarify some things. You send me the notes, and I'll touch it up better for next time.
Yeah, we have some time before launch. It's all right. People know what they need to know when they need to know it.
Excellent.
Yeah, man.
But I think it all ties in nicely to the Prime TwoFux pre-mint and the fact that, like, you can have a strategy like that that's going to pay you, and you have an opportunity to get in at a 30% discount. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of liquidity providing that people don't look at as much, is that, like, okay, you got these high APRs. That's great. Everybody likes a high APR. But if you can get into a pool with tokens at, like, a lower price or at a discount for whatever reason, maybe just because the market is providing the discount, something's undervalued, and you get in at a low price, and the APRs are high, but you're going to experience the bull market pulling up the price of these tokens, right? So, to have the option for a 30% discount plus the crazy airdrop things, 100 grand of stuff, and be able to be in a pool that maybe is going to pay 200% anyway, I like the math. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the math too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Hey, Joel, we covered a lot in 50 minutes. I feel like we've been talking for like an hour and a half worth of content. We flew through that, dude.
Hopefully someone else in the crowd understood what we were talking about.
I know. Me and you were just like locked in, like, let's go. And then, like, through the chat, like, they can watch it later.
Yeah, you guys know what we're talking about at all? Or
yeah, no, SMO Spider gets it. She said, sure, it's much easier than it actually sounds, and it is. There will, I don't know if you guys noticed something, but there's a little symbol right up at the top next to my face. It's this little pyramid called Tetra, and maybe or maybe not. I don't know yet. There will be a button you can just click, and this just happens. We'll see. We'll see.
Yep. Like imagine this was one button, right? Like literally, like you press the button, you'd authorize 3 or 4 contracts, and then this would just keep happening for you. I think that's on the horizon, honestly. I don't, I have no guarantees, but I know that Tetra's working on Stratus as one of the next things that's going to be deployed. So we already have limit orders with Omnis that are covering most of the dexes, which is great. Which is the limit orders could be something to set for Prime TwoFux, right? You see, you see the price go too high or the price go too low. That could be the game. But like the Stratus thing is where you have the drag and drop strategies where stuff is going to be set up for you. And with something like this sloth, like you would put up the strategy and then people could just click on it, right? They don't have to design the whole thing piece by piece.
Yep, that's the plan. So there will be a certain number of people, a certain group of people who the Tetra team were allowed to make public strategies. We have no idea who those people will be, but we just know that there will be public strategies, but not everybody can post, which makes sense. You don't want the things floating around for untrusted sources. So theoretically, if one of these people built this strategy out, that anybody could download it. They would probably want to make a new strategy wallet specific for it. Like you need to make sure your security is on point when you're doing automations, because a lot can go wrong when you do automation. So there's risk to this, and I'll be talking about it when Tetra comes out, the exact risks and how you can mitigate it, proper security, etc. But theoretically, you'll be able to click a button to like download the strategy, connect it to your wallet, your strategy wallet, and then click a button to run it, fund your wallet, and then it goes. And the cool thing is you can even set it up so that it automatically takes profits every once in a while and just spits it into your wallet. So you don't even have to take profits. You're like, hey, 10% of every little iteration or every step, throw that into Pulse or throw that into DAI, throw that into ETH and send it to my main wallet or send it to my Volt wallet. Like you can automate all of that.
Or your DGen wallet. Like you could have a strategy like this with like pretty safe blue chip tokens where you're like, okay, every full loop, take out 10%. And send it to my DGen meme coin wallet, and I'm gonna go buy the latest, copied stable coin or fruit-based meme item.
What's the new one? Too Spooky just launched one. It was like New York pizza, something like that. It's like paired with like their rats, so like rats and pizza from New York.
Bang! Right on. Yeah. Why not? That could be your pizza wallet. There's nothing wrong with that. To have like the option of having yield that's going to keep coming and using that as your DGen fund, but maintaining your blue chips. I think that's a pretty solid plan. You could have all your yield going into something like that if you want, depending on the spot in the market. That's not going to be my personal play, but I think there's definitely some game theory there.
Here's a quick important question that I think we should answer, and then we'll start wrapping up.
Sure. So
Stizzy Jones says, if we sack, when do we get our tokens?
Okay. So this first off, this isn't really like a sacrifice per such. It's just it's on the page made by Jay from Hexboss.info, who did all the other sacrifice stuff. So it has that same feel to it, but it's we're telling you what you're going to get there. So we're looking at Monday is sort of the anticipated time. We're hoping to launch the final stage of the TwoFux protocol. We're sort of launching it in phases. So we're at phase 3 out of 5 right now. That final phase is people being able to mint their TwoFux tokens, those who will be eligible. Now for the Prime TwoFux, we're doing the pre-mint here. When the protocol is live, the people who have done the pre-mint will get an airdrop to the same wallet that they pre-minted with. Make sure you're not, there's pretty much no way you can be doing this from an exchange, so you should be good. It's got to be your own MetaMask or internet money wallet, etc. And you'll get your Prime TwoFux tokens at that time, as well as the additional Fire, Axis, Nope, and Solid X tokens that you're due if you are. So good luck.
Yep. And Stizzy Jones, he says he doesn't want to wait 2 years.
Yeah, me neither, man.
I don't want to either. But you don't have to send your money, man. Like if you're worried, because there is an inherent risk when you're giving your money to a protocol. I believe in Fast Abdul's, moral standing and that he's going to deliver what he says. But you may not. You don't know this guy. He's some guy with a carpet on his back. Like,
that's true.
I guess. But like, if you're worried about the lag between when you send money and when you receive the tokens you think you're going to get, or at least in this case you're pre-minting to get, which is different than a sacrifice, just don't do it. Like you don't have to take advantage of every opportunity. And if you need to preserve your capital and that's what's best for you and your portfolio, then that's what you should do. So never feel pressure to give your money to any protocol that's raising funds. That's a very personal decision and completely up to you. We just lay out the facts, and if you feel that it's best for you in your situation, then the option is there.
Yep. No financial advice here. This is just, we're just telling you what's going on. In my opinion, we're talking about days, not years, not months, not weeks. And really, like, we want it, like Yellow Cake and I, like Yellow Cake is working like a madman in the background. We have devs that work for us, and he's supervising them to make sure that everything is safe, everything is good. Working with the audit teams, etc. So like we want this out as soon as possible. We're not going to do it if it's unsafe. The truth is that the code in the back is 100% fine, and we're just making sure the front end is nice and understandable. There's a lot of information here, but I can show you the basics of what it's going to look like here. I have a testnet. It's actually, we call it the DevNet. Let's see. And it's freaking smooth. I am very pleased with how well it works. So this is our DevNet. Am I up there?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this is our DevNet, and that means that it's actually live on the Pulse chain, and it's interacting with the Fux Exchange. But it's not the real final TwoFux that people will use. So it's kind of a miniature version that we have set up for testing. But it's so smooth, Sloth, compared to what we've seen on other things. You can see here, like, okay, I'm on the pools page. I can scroll through these pools. Name a token. What's your favorite token today that could have a gauged pool?
Oh, I have no idea. Let's just do. Let's look at the Hedron pool, the Hedron Maxi pool.
Sure. So let's start HDRN, right? Okay. So I've typed in HDR, and it's already filed for me. Okay, these are the 4 pools that are gauged, and we only show. Oh, I lost it there. We only show the gauged pools on the Fux Exchange. So these are the 4 pools that are gauged that you can participate in that have the Hedron in it. So like, oh, here's Polly wants Bootstrap. That's a great one, right? Okay, up to 600% APR. 2.5 times gauge boost. It gives you the breakdown of where the APR comes from. So 97% from Fux, this much from TwoFux, so on and so forth, and this much from swap fees. So these aren't exact real numbers, but this is a feel of what you're going to get in the very, very near future, in my opinion. And it's going to be really easy to participate in. So people who are already on the Fux Exchange, you'll just be able to press this portfolio button, right? You'll be able to press unstake for your LP positions on Fux, and then come here, press the portfolio button, and you'll see your staked pools. Your unstaked pools are here, and they have a stake button beside them, and you press stake and you're done. You don't have to unravel your LP and do it again. Like this is just a different front end that's going to give you better yield. It's not like the system works the same. You'll be very familiar with the buttons. Here's the locking for the TwoFux is here. You'll see here we have the delegate to Briberry for the bribes option is going to be right there. Like all, very straightforward, very fast. Our guys are super good at making smooth systems. Like we're not going for pretty here, though I think it's fine. We're going for smooth. So like everything is fast and understandable. We have the appropriate disclaimers at the appropriate places. Here's where you're gonna mint your Prime TwoFux in the future using Prime Fux or Fux tokens. Like it's all just here, and it's going to be there for you right away. And the nice thing is that they made it so that the page loads. You just see this bump up in the corner here, this 187%. That was loading in the background, and when it was ready, it popped up. But as soon as you click the button, it brings you to the page you want. And then the data that's being laggy because it's checking multiple sources, that comes up as soon as it's available. So it's basically never leaves you waiting. But like, look at this. This is the Prime TwoFux we're talking about. 187%, 56% coming from TwoFux, 131% from Prime TwoFux, which is automatically restaked with our compounder that's built into the protocol, right? Like there's some pretty sweet options here. Some of it's for the pros, right? But things like staking these LP positions, That's for everybody. This is basic yield farming, just with bigger numbers, right? So, it's
bigger is better.
Yeah, indeed. And like this stuff can go big. Like some of these pools, unlike some of the fly-by-night yield farms that can only hold $500 and the APR goes down, some of these have millions of dollars in them, and they can have millions more, and they're still going to be impressive APRs. So we're going to see some crazy numbers on Monday, hopefully. And I think people are going to be very receptive to moving their LP over or becoming first-time yield farmers using the TwoFux front end. And we're here to support you. Come to the Telegram room. Like, I know this is weird. We'll walk you through it. We will not DM you ever unless you DM us first. But if you reach out to me, I will tell you what you need to know. I will teach you the basics of yield farming if that's what it takes. Or if you're a pro and you just want some advice on, how to divide your millions into different pools to get the best rate at theoretically the best returns and with the best balance, like we're willing to consult and things like that too. So there'll be a lot of teaching, I think, in the next 2 weeks or 2 months. But I'm happy to switch from shilling to teaching starting Monday.
If you guys have millions of dollars that you need help to divide this thing, come get a consult from me. I'll help you guys out. Don't worry.
Yeah. Actually, that's great, Resource Sloth, because you really understand this stuff. So yeah, if like, I only have so much time, and I won't actually take your money as for a consulting fee. I'll give you the answer if I can. But if you want like a step-by-step walkthrough, you want somebody to hold your hand, I believe Sloth has a consulting process, right?
Yep, that is true. And I am not officially part of like the TwoFux team at all in any sense. So like if you come to a consult for me, that's just like me and you, nothing really associated with TwoFux. Everything that I've created that has my name on it, those are my creations around the TwoFux protocol, but not like, me working under you.
And for the record, I believe I was cryptosloth's first paid consultation in regards to the Hedron and Ghost protocol a number of years ago now. I recommend it. It's got me to where I am today.
You got a pretty good deal on that. The first 10 of them were like 50% off. You got it for like $200. Now they're $600.
Well, yeah. No, I'm always looking for the deals. That's for sure.
Yeah, I remember that consult, and I walked away from like, that was a weird dude. I don't know who that was. I like him, and that was fun, but that was a weird dude. Little did I know I was right.
I'm still around. Yeah, so there it is. So I guess the most important question that we should part with here is how can you work the things you're working on with your CryptoSloth NFTs and the other things into the TwoFux protocol? How can we merge these things together?
So for those of you guys who don't know, me, Hexecutioner, Red Squirrel, we're collaborating on a project together called Trinity. And it's actually pretty complicated, but the gist of it is that it's a pseudo 404 contract in that it's like an escrow contract that exists. You can put your NFT in and you can get a certain number of tokens out. It's a fixed number. And then you could take that same number, it's 555. You put 555 of the tokens in the protocol, you get the NFT out. So mine are sloths, squirrels are squirrels, and hexecutioners are ocelots, which is like a kind of cat. And so there are 3 NFT projects, 3 tokens corresponding to each project. Obviously, this is very obvious. If there are 3 tokens in this ecosystem and we're working together, we want liquidity tied together. Well, this protocol allows you to easily put multiple tokens in a single pool at your preferred weighting, however you think it's best, and then you can add other tokens on top of it. So it's the perfect fit for us. Of course, we're not out yet, so we don't have tokens, we don't have a gauge. But like if this was something that we were to pursue, and I'll tell you guys, I kind of like the protocol, so maybe this will be on the roadmap once we launch a little bit later. This is something that I would be happy to pursue, and I would like to see how to get it done or what I need to do to get it done. It's the perfect fit for our protocol to kind of help bond the liquidity together. Guys, just so you know, there's an airdrop for the Trinity in the Trinity Telegram. So if you go down into the description, the very first thing, it says free airdrop, and then there's a link to the Telegram. Go into the Telegram, and in the pinned messages, there is the instructions on how to enter the airdrop. It's free money. You don't have to put any money into it to get it to qualify. The rules are laid out there. but it is a airdrop that will happen at an unknown time with an unknown token of an unknown amount. And nobody knows any of these factors, not even me. So there are no expectations, but if you want to get on a list that's associated with the first Trinity airdrop, go in the link in the description below. And actually, you know what? I'm going to make it easy for you guys. I'm going to get the Trinity Telegram link right now, and I'm going to post it in the chat so you guys can click that link. Boop, boop. Go ahead, hop in, guys. Feel free to ask questions. There are streams about Trinity. I'm not going to go into detail here, but the information is out there. And if you ask in the Telegram, we will get you that information. So, yeah.
Score. Okay. I like the sound of that. I'm sure there's something we can do to help you out. I know a guy.
And then actually, I'm also going to throw this other link in here, too. And this is all the information that you guys need to be able to pre-mint Prime TwoFux. Computer lagged a little bit. So I'm going to put this. This is also in the description, but just to make it easy for you guys, I'm going to also put it in the text, in the chat box. There you guys go. So it's all there. You know, for like everything, no financial advice. You're responsible for your own decisions. Here are just some information that you might think is interesting.
Now, before I let you go, Sloth, I want to mention that at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, I have another stream with Access Alive. And I'm not allowed to tell you what that stream is going to be about, but it will be related to what we're talking about. It will be related to the solid index tokens, and you don't want to miss it. This is like major alpha. So if anybody's tuning into this, like hit up the stream with Access in, you know, not very long. And, you know, there's going to be some stuff that you want to know. You don't want to miss it, that you'll be pleased that you caught that stream, because it's going to be huge. It's going to change a lot of things for a lot of people, and the future is bright.
Yeah, the future is bright. I am looking forward to catching that stream myself so I can get this juicy information. Apparently that's out, about to be out there available, about to be available to everybody. So I look forward to finding it out as well. I hope you guys do too. Access Alive's channel for the second round of Fast Abdul in about an hour and 15 minutes. So, you know, go get your drinks, go eat some food, get ready, because you're seeing Fast Abdul's pretty face 2 times today.
Nice.
All right, guys. I think that's the appropriate time to end it. What do you say?
It's good. I think we covered everything.
All right. Everybody, like always, please like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. Engage with my stuff however you can. It helps me out. And you guys, I don't have to post anything about where to find Fast Abdul. He's already where you're at. Don't even worry about it. All right. Peace out.
See ya.